Hey YouTube, it's Jonathan. Today we're on day 7 of the drive out chat, where I drive home from my day job to converse with you about thoughts that are on my mind. And as of late, I have been working on prepared topics that I pre-planned the day before in order to provide the most value and the most coherence for both myself and you, the listener. And hopefully we're going to be able to have a great discussion. So moving on, day 7, our chat is going to be on the scarcity mindset. So I put a little caption here. Your time limit is your superpower. So just to recap from yesterday, the topic was that life is a game. Particularly, it's similar to a video game in the sense that you can level up in different skills in life. And that's kind of what video games tap into in order to make them addictive and wanting us to play them, right? Same as a sport. It's the rush and getting better and improving. It's the exact concept, and that's why video games are so addictive and why people are so drawn to them. So yeah, life is a game, and you can play it as such if you reframe it to look that way in your own mind. And that's a choice you can make. So when you let go of your past, when you forgive, whether it's yourself, others, all of it, preferably, that's when you can move forward and you can level up and then fight the different so-called bosses in your life, right? Just like in a video game, the bosses. So feeding off of that, today's message I have for you is that time is the most valuable, non-renewable resource in the game of life. You know, you can get more money, you can get more houses, you can get more stuff, but you can't get more time. Sure, you can draw out the time you have, like you can live a healthy life and hope you don't get hit by a car or something, but aside from those things you can tweak to maximize your lifespan, at some point we're all going to die, no matter how good technology gets, whatever, right? We're on a time limit, and time is the finite resource that provides the underlying meaning to things. So it's important to understand that life ends one day. It's important to really take that seriously and to really ground yourself in that. If you steep yourself in that, it makes everything you do more meaningful, because every moment is precious, because you don't know when it ends, right? That's why you hear these sayings like, treat every day like it's your last. Treat today as a new life, because you only get so many retries, so many times you get to enjoy and experience things. We think we have unlimited time, and that's exactly what leads to procrastination. Realize that your time is limited, and in doing so, it forces you to choose right now, right here, right now, what you want to do with your life, right? And I find, at least in my own experience, when I frame my life in that way and I really think of it that way, I lose the fear loses its power to bite. Like, it loses its bite. It's not as intense and it's not as scary, because the real fear underlying everything, or the real thing that makes life go on, is the fact that you're going to die one day, and that's kind of what builds that meaning into your life. So yeah, we think we have a limited time, which leads to procrastination. So yeah, realize your time is limited. Stop waiting for this is something I'm guilty of. I have been for a long time. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to do the thing. Whatever you want to do it, and just do it badly. Again, you're probably a level 1 character in, like, at least in that skill you're trying to do. If you've done a couple rounds of it, even better, you're ahead of other people. But if you're level 1, don't freak out about it. Like, you get to respawn, you get to do it again. It's not that serious. It's just because we don't see it like a video game would show you as a respawn. It's more like you think you fail, and therefore everyone's judging you, and it's the end of the world. When you go play an online game or whatever, and your character dies, do you think everyone's judging your character for dying and respawning? Not really, right? Like, obviously, like, in reality, people will judge you sometimes. It's gonna happen, but you shouldn't. You gotta learn to, like, push through that. Like, the emotions in your mind don't have to run your life. You decide how your mind works and how it runs your life. You decide what you prioritize in your thoughts. It's the same idea as, like, you are what you eat, right? You are what you focus on. You are what you allow your mind to focus on, and how you filter those thoughts and how you process. So you don't have to be drugged down by the opinions of others, and sometimes the horrible opinions we have of ourselves, because we're shaming ourselves with a whip or whatever, right? So yeah, just realize that's a choice you're making. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The time available is the value you create. The time available is the value you create, right? So to go further on to this point here, I've got the 80-20 principle, or the 80-20 rule. Most people have heard of this. If you haven't, don't worry about it. Again, this is like ideas float around, like not everyone's going to hear them, right? But anyway, the 80-20 principle, and I kind of caption this as like XP maximization. So if you're like trying to like do your best with getting the most experience points in whatever thing you're trying to do, so not all effort is equal. Like not everything you spend your time on is necessarily worth doing as much as other things you could be doing, right? It's about prioritizing the time you do have, because again, the time is the limited and finite resource that you have in the game. So you want to make sure that what you're spending that limited resource on is the most valuable substance you can, right? The things that are really going to get you the most distance in your aim. If you don't set the priority, you're not going to get there. You're not going to get anywhere sometimes, right? Like, yeah, so what you want to do is you want to ruthlessly identify and sorry, here, let me try this again. So again, the 80-20 principle, XP maximization. So not all effort is equal. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. So there's a couple things you do in your day that they're having the most impact, and they give you 80% of the return on your investment of your time. And you want to identify those, and you want to figure out what they are. I always use this same example in my videos because it's something so simple, and it's like the most mundane, stupid, whatever you want to call it, stupid thing that a person could do, but like it just works, and it gives me the most bang for my buck. And I'll say it again, I forget to brush my teeth, and I neglect that part of my health, my physical health. So what I've done is I put the toothbrush and the toothpaste on my desk. They're in my face. I cannot miss it. And if there's by chance a moment where I move it out of the way, that the little process in my head goes off, and it's like making me feel guilty over time, because I know that I'm committed to that, and I know it's something I'm responsible for, and I know, most importantly, related to what I'm talking about here, it will give me the biggest bang for my buck. It takes me 2 minutes out of my day to brush my teeth, but the impact it has on my smile, and I have no cavities. I haven't had cavities in 15 years. Smile, cavities, like there's like no bacteria in my mouth. Like my breath doesn't smell bad, right? My smile looks better. It's all of these things. And that's, again, 80-20 rule, right? There's little things that you can be doing in your day-to-day life that just have such a punch. They pack such a punch, and they don't cost you much with your time. So you want to identify those. So again, 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. So you want to ruthlessly identify and cut out the 80% of low impact things you're doing that are not giving you the results you want. So there's things that are actually detracting you, not just like they're not neutral necessarily, they're actually detracting you from your aims. So I'll give you an example from my own life, because again, I'm the person speaking from experience, just from what I've experienced in my life. I don't know everything, but what I've experienced for me was marijuana abuse, like weed abuse. So if I have it around, I will smoke it and smoke it and smoke it. I'm sure this is a normal thing. Maybe it's not. Like if I have if I have something around that I like, I will abuse it. So what I do is I organize my life in such a way, my house in such a way, that the things I could abuse are not around me. I don't have access to them. I have to go the distance to get them. And I won't do that because it takes too much effort, right? The more friction you put between the thing that you're not supposed to do and you, or so yourself, and like the thing that you're addicted to or like is negatively impacting your life, the less likely you are to do it, right? So say you're overweight and you want to lose weight. What do? You clear your house of junk food, and that way you have to leave your house to get some, right? So the odds of you going out to get some, at least once you're, like a few weeks into like breaking that habit, you might get addicted at first, feel the addiction, and have to like cravings and get some. Say you're a couple weeks out of the groove of eating bad food or sugary snacks or whatever. Once you're past that hump, like if it's not in the house, you don't have access to it. You got to go out of your way to get it. And that's like friction that actually benefits you. And that allows you to focus more of your limited time and attention on the things that really matter to you. So you're not wasting time and effort on things that are just not benefiting you, right? And again, we're trying to become high-level characters here. So it doesn't really matter what skill or what avenue you're trying to go down in your life to improve or do better in. It's more just the fact that like these rules are general and they apply to any skill you're trying to level up. So cut out the 80% of the junk you're doing and the wastes of time. A good example would be like social media, right? If you're wasting your time on social media, scrolling through like TikTok, whatever, like let's go into a little rant about that for a minute, shall we? So young people, I'm still kind of young, but like I'm not like a teenager, right? Young people call this stuff like brain rot. Maybe you've heard of this maybe you're young like that, or like friends or whatever, or your children, but they call it brain rot. It's just this like retarded, like the stupidest thing you can look at. It's like AI generated dribble, and it's just mind numbing. It's retarded. But the thing about it is the app is designed to be as addictive as it possibly can be. Right? You scroll to one, it automatically jumps to the next video, and what do? You just keep watching because it gives you that little hit of dopamine in your brain, and it takes sincere effort to cut that out. And like, I never had a TikTok addiction per se, but like for me, it was because I'm a little older. It was like Facebook, just checking like my status all the time, checking notifications. So the only way to like for me to cut that out was to just delete the app on my phone and like block the website on my browser on my computer, so I could actually get stuff done that was productive and benefited me long term. And I've gone the distance since doing that, and that was like, oh geez, like 3-4 years ago. Like it makes such a difference when you cut out the stuff that you know is not benefiting you, right? So again, you have to identify what those things are. You got to look at your goal, and then like just look at yourself, what you do throughout the day. Like look at the actions you're taking, what you're spending your time on. Figure out what those things are, and then like if they're not giving you a positive return on investment, don't keep doing them. They're a waste of time, right? Because you can be using that time so much more productively and so much more wisely if you put in a little bit of thought and you were a little more thoughtful with what you're doing. So focus is your only. Focus. Your only currency is attention. Don't waste it on cheap tasks. So again, TikTok, social media. Don't waste it on this junk. Like you're not benefiting. You're not helping yourself by getting addicted to some app or some. Again, I know we're talking about video games. Life is a video game, but like video game addiction, that's a real thing. I've suffered from that for many years. It's hard not to want to climb the artificial ladders, right? Our brains are wired for this stuff. It's just technology is becoming so awesome and so great for like everybody, and it's making us more powerful beyond belief. It's just we're not using it. Not all of us anywhere. Most of us are not using it in ways that actually benefit our lives when we're trying to aim higher, right? It'll keep you going with the status quo. Like if you want to be like everybody else, go ahead, just like watch the shit till you fall asleep, and then right, wake up half rested. But it's not going to get you if you're trying to aim for something difficult and like a long journey. If you're trying to embark on your own life journey, don't waste your time on somebody else's crap. I don't know how else to put that. Um, so I've got a challenge to pose to you. I'm going to start doing these a little more often because I think they're useful. So my challenge for you is create a list of things you're going to stop doing. Create a stop doing list. So like, what are two things that you'll refuse to do this week because they're no longer worth your finite time? And again, like I was saying, time is a finite resource, and the only currency you have is your attention, right? So what can you cut out that's going to make that difference for you? I got a couple examples here. So again, checking social media, I already mentioned that. So like checking social media before 9 a.m. or attending a low value meeting. Like say you have the luxury of being a white collar worker, right? And you have maybe you're a manager and you have optional meetings that are like opt in, right? Maybe they're not worth your time. Maybe there's something better you could be using your time on. Again, this is assuming you have the option to do them voluntarily, but maybe there's something more productive you could be doing with your time at work, right? Than just sitting in an optional meeting. When I used to work in IT, we had lots of those. I would rarely attend like a lot of the security meetings because it wasn't my domain, and I already kind of had a general idea of what's going on, right? Um, yeah, so checking social media before 9 a.m., attending a low value meeting, habitually rechecking email. I mean, I must admit I'm guilty of this, like checking my email multiple times, just refreshing it, seeing if something changed. It's the same idea as social media, right? You're just kind of wasting time because it makes your brain feel good just to see, oh, maybe there's a little ping and it'll give me a little spike of dopamine for a second, right? Yeah, so I'll conclude my notes because I didn't make a super long set of notes today. We'll continue the conversation a little longer, but I'll conclude my notes anyway for now. So the conclusion is the scarcity of time is the pressure that turns potential into diamonds, right? Because pressure is what turns carbon into diamonds. It's kind of the metaphor there. So scarcity of time is the pressure that turns potential into diamonds. So if you want to build something, and you have to put effort and sincerity and you gotta use your attention. And like here, I'll give you a kind of like a more like true to life example. Like if you want to cut a tree down, right, you're not going to take your say you're using an axe or hatchet, you're not going to take your hatchet and like whack all the different spots on it. You're going to keep hitting the same spot over and over and over. That's like the metaphor for like your attention being focused on like the one thing you're trying to aim at. If your aim's all over the place, you're not going to hit the target. If you're using like a bow and arrow, you're not going to target if you keep going left and right and up and down, unless you're like, master level skill and that's part of your little show or something. You know what I mean, though? Like most people are not going to do that, right? So apply that same principle to your life, and it comes back to this idea of like you gotta value yourself enough to understand that your time is valuable. You got to understand that like there's something to you that you have to offer. It's not just for you, it's for everybody. It benefits other people when you get better. We don't exist in a vacuum. We're not alone. We're here together. And yeah, you want to maintain yourself and position yourself for success in whatever domains, I would say plural really, whatever domains of your life that you're able. The more you can juggle, the more responsible you are with the different aspects of your life, and the more you carry on your back, the more meaningful your life's going to be, because you're proving to yourself that, like, I don't know how to explain this. You're proving to yourself that you're worth the effort, right? And like people notice that shit. People notice. It's like the definition of self-respect, right? You set boundaries with other people. Well, how about you set boundaries with yourself? How about you put boundaries around the things that are not blessing your life, that are not benefiting you, that are not adding, but it's actually subtracting in a lot of cases from who you could be. And who you could be is who we need in the world. It's not just for you. You got to do it for everybody around you. Even if you don't socialize much, on the off times that you do and the things that you do and the interactions you do have, it will show. It will show. And you owe it to yourself and you owe it to everybody to improve. So please, like, for you and by extension the world, do your best in whatever you're doing. Do your best. I kind of hinted at that before. It's like do the small things, as well as you can, like brushing your teeth, making your bed, eating healthy, exercising a little bit, right? Keeping your brain sharp. It's the little things that build up to be the big things, which end up being the entirety of your life. Like it's the small things are what matter, because everything in your life is made up of small things stacked on top of one another. And I think it's easy to lose sight of that when you get caught in the mundane existence of like 9 to 5 work or family life. But it's worth, I kind of want to call it a reality check, but like not like in the sense that like everyone thinks of it that way. It's more like, hey, reality is knocking on your door. Like the actual reality of things is we're not meant to just sit idly by and conform to what everyone else is doing. We're meant to do better. And there's more to us than that. There's more to us than that. Now, I do have some accompanying notes. They're not exactly like tied to this topic, but I didn't have enough content written up for this conversation. So I'm going to tack on a few other things just to see where they go, because like part of the fun too is just it's all meaningful content I'm trying to make. Right? I'm not just trying to like talk with junk. So in the past, I had talked about forgiveness. So forgiveness. Kind of paraphrasing a quote. Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. So if you have fear, if you forgive and you let go, you're suddenly lighter. You're not weighed down by the burdens of the past, by your resentments, whether it's to others or yourself. And it makes you lighter, and therefore it removes fear, and like if you're lighter, it allows you to become more than you are, because you can rise above who you've been, right? There's something spiritual about that. And when I said it out loud just now, I felt the little tether in my chest go up, right? It allows you to become more than you are, rise above your programming, right? To turn the page of your life's story. You're the main character in your story. Like, if you're the hero in the movie, why would you sit idly by and watch and just let nothing happen? Like you're meant to participate, and you're meant to participate as fully and as genuinely as you can. Yeah. um, if you can beat a video game, you can conquer life. It's no different. The reason video games are addictive is because they tap into our wiring to do better and better and better, and therefore conquer life. So if you take that to heart and you look at life as such, it will make it easier for you to want to do that and to pursue real life goals beyond what a video game can offer you, because the real thing is the real thing, right? The game on the computer, or like the board game, whatever you're playing, it's not doing justice to the grandeur and the beauty and the magnificence of this entire vision that the real life simulation video game developers created for us to enjoy and to play within. Um, no, if you're having trouble moving forward with your life, I'd like to remind you that the only thing stopping you from having a seat at the table is an invitation from yourself. You know, again, I've said this a couple times now. I'm guilty of this, like the other things in the conversation. So I'll say it again. You don't need a grand vision for your life. The only thing stopping you from having a seat at the table is an invitation from yourself. So for a long time, for many, many, many years in my 20s, I needed somebody successful to come along and just like say, hey, like, I think you're worth the time. Let's invest in you and make you great. I thought someone had to like pick me up and like carry me up the ladder. But then it never happened because I was just waiting for basically nothing to happen, because that's not how it works, right? Obviously, there's a couple people here and there who will have like nepotism, or like you might meet the right person here and there. I know there's a whole saying of like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Sure, fair enough, fair enough. If you put yourself in those opportunity moments, that's what they call luck. It's like preparation meeting opportunity. Fair enough. I'm not dissing on that or whatever. But I was sitting there and just waiting for like success to hit me in the face, for somebody rich or wealthy or successful to come in and say, hey, like, let me help you out and I'll make you like me. And like, I don't think that's realistic, right? So yeah, again, I had to invite myself to the table. I had to realize that like, if it's gonna happen, it's going to be because I'm going to take the action to make that happen. It's not going to be because of somebody else's actions for my benefit. That was a very self-centered and immature and foolish way of looking at my life. And I don't. Again, this, I'll give you some. I don't shame myself for that, because it's not who I am now. And to shame yourself is actually quite selfish. It doesn't benefit you because you're just dwelling on the past. I let go of it. I forgave myself, and I said like, hey, you didn't know any better. Now you do. So now that you know better, you better do better, right? So yeah, the only thing stopping you from having a seat at the table is an invitation from yourself. So hey, invite yourself to the table. Like, the chair is just there. The chair is there waiting for you to sit in it. Like decide that you want to have a game plan for your life, and like start writing it up. If you don't know what you want to do, that's fine. But like, try to figure out something, just something small that you want to do. Like, if you're overweight, maybe you want to lose a couple pounds, right? It doesn't have to be like anything intense if you're just starting out, but just get yourself used to like doing something uncomfortable and different, because it's by doing something small today that you can do something a little bit bigger tomorrow. And again, this is the rule of 1% improvement every day. You become 37 times better in a year's time if you do that day by day by day, because it jumps and it compounds on itself. It's worth your effort. It's worth it. You will thank your future self will thank you for taking the actions today to become who you'll be tomorrow, right? Like, there's a beauty to that. Um, Now, I kind of jumped this earlier. I didn't mean to say it, but here's my other little thing I want to say to you. You don't need a grand vision for your life. All you need is the sight to see the step that's right in front of you. Exactly what I was just talking about. Don't worry about the grand vision. Like, have an aim towards it, but realize that the step you got to take today is not going to be jumping from where you are now to all the way down the road in like however long it's take you to get there. A year, 5 years, whatever, right? If you want to get there, you gotta take a step in that direction. It might not be a big step. You might actually be kind of like ashamed or embarrassed at how pathetic that step is today. But it's have the courage and the strength of character and of mind to just humble yourself. Like, don't be afraid to do something small just because it's small, right? If it has a little plus next to it, if it's a positive attribute and a benefit to you, just do it. There's no shame in that. You should be proud of the fact that you notice it and like take action on it. It doesn't cost you much to just take action on that small thing. And if it's hard to do, even if it's pathetic or small, do it anyway. Like, hey, I don't know you personally, again, but like I'm still rooting for you. Like I want everybody to do well. I think if it's within you and it's within your grasp to do the thing that's right in front of you, and you have the courage and the commitment and the strength to do it, you should be proud of that. Seriously, don't matter what the hell it is, it doesn't matter. Be proud of that. For real. Like the reason a lot of people are not successful is because they aren't willing to take the small steps to then take the bigger steps. They think like, again, that's what I was saying. I was waiting for an invitation to become, the best I could be, or successful or rich, whatever the aim was at the time. It changed over time, right? Don't wait. Figure out what you're gonna do, and then just take one little tiny step towards it. Yeah. To be larger than life today, all you have to do is take one more step beyond who you were yesterday, right? So if you didn't brush teeth yesterday, brush them today, and suddenly you're better in that way than you were yesterday, right? Your teeth and your mouth will thank you. And yeah, your habits, going back to the 80-20 thing, where you should get rid of the 80% of the junk you're doing that's not benefiting you. Your habits are hijacking your dopamine. Like they're stealing from your enjoyment of life with like fake pleasure. It's like it's the real drug in your brain, but the things that are triggering it are not the real thing that are gonna get you to where you want to be. Dopamine is meant to be a signal toward of progress towards something beneficial, right? Same reason sex feels good. It's not just for the intimacy, which I'm sure that's part of it, but the main gig there is reproduction. It's to have a baby. The dopamine is there, and it's wired for us to seek out the challenge that will level us up in the game of life. So you got to figure out what's hijacking your dopamine, and you got to get rid of that, because it's not benefiting you, right? It's a fake signal. It's not real. Another thing here related to dopamine, but it's kind of the opposite. And I've done this. It's taken me some time, and I know a few people who have too. If you can manage to do this for yourself, kudos to you. This is difficult to do. So I'll say it right here. Suffering is a signal to keep going, not give up. You got it backwards. Try telling yourself that. Suffering, when you're in pain, it's a signal to keep going in that direction, not to give up. Obviously, if you're falling down a cliff, that's not, what I mean. I don't mean like literal physical danger. I'm talking about like when you're in pain from like a workout or something. Like, don't just stop working out because you got sore for a week after your first workout. Maybe you went too intense with it, right? That's just an example. The suffering and the pain don't mean you should quit. They're a signal that your body is transforming and transmuting the junk into like diamonds, into gold. You're becoming a beautiful sculpture from the marble block that you were. You're becoming more in tune with your higher self and your higher aim. Don't let the feeling of being down or feeling depressed or shitty for a bit, don't let that stop you from achieving what you want to get to. Because in reality, again, it's just you got to this whole thing is about reframing your mindset. Reframe your mind to focus on what's going to get you there, right? Use every lever at your disposal. Press every button that's going to get you further. Like, suffering is a tool. I don't know if you ever looked at it that way before. It took me a while to get there. Suffering is a tool to be used. Like, you got a toolkit. We kind of think we're just victims of circumstance, right? We're victims of our emotions and our feelings and the pains of life or whatever. Life might be a roller coaster, but like you can use every situation as leverage to actually put you higher up to achieving what you want. Like, it's a cool concept. You can even get leverage from suffering. You can get leverage from a bad day. A bad day is all it is a signal that like good days exist, right? A bad day is a reminder that you should be grateful for the good times. A bad day is also just a reminder that you exist. Simple as that. Yeah. And then going back to just like what you spend your time focusing on, right? Focus is your currency. And you only have so much time, so don't waste your time focusing on junk. Get rid of that 80% of crap in your day you're doing that's not benefiting. So you become what you dwell on and what you think about. You become what you dwell on and think about. So if you want good things for yourself, if you're not aiming down and you want to aim up, have reminders for yourself. Like, talk to yourself like a friend. Talk to yourself like you give a shit about who you are. Like, this might sound a little demeaning for a second, but like, I actually, sometimes there's a part of me that's almost like a little pet, a cat or a dog. I gotta kind of like say, hey man, like it's cool, pat, pat, pat. You're gonna be all right. Like, don't stress. It's almost like I'm a little child inside. Sometimes there's a part of me that's a little child, right? And like, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. I think that's just kind of, I think that's how a lot of people are. I think humans are like that. We're kind of children who, in a lot of ways, never grew up, right? Yeah, just like have compassion for yourself. Like, don't keep whipping yourself for where you're at. Just do better. Do better, right? You decide you're going to stop shaming yourself and use that last time you shame yourself as a motivator to jump to the next step. Okay, I'm here. I feel shitty. I'm not going to put myself in this position again. I'm going to move forward because of this, not stay where I am because of it. The choice is yours to act on the impulses that hit you. Everything that happens in your life is a signal, and you can interpret it how you want. You get to frame your life and the things that happen in your life how you want. There's power in that. Like, it's kind of like, again, back to a video game. You know how like some games you can have different weapons, like you can be a spellcaster or have a sword or a two-handed sword or a sword and shield. What if you got good at wielding all those different weapons? What if you could do all of them? That's the comparison here. You decide what weapons you're going to wield in the fight against yourself and the fight of life to get to become a high level character in life. Everything that happens to you, the suffering, the negative, the pain, everything, you get to interpret it how you want. So I challenge you to wield those things as best you can and realize that there's power in everything. There's power, like genuinely, there's power. You know, think about that. Like the kind of person you have to be, and you like it just gives you shivers. It gives me shivers to talk about this because I didn't really conceptualize it like in my brain. I didn't think it through. I'm actually thinking as I'm talking to you. You can wield anything to your advantage. You can wield suffering. Like, imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine you're having a shitty day. Like, that's actually a good example, a parallel. Imagine you're having a shitty day, and it makes you have an even more intense and awesome workout that in turn makes you more muscular, raises your testosterone, makes you just a more confident and in tune and lively person, right? Like, you took a negative day and you transmuted that. You became an alchemist. You transmuted that negativity and you used the energy for something good, right? You're like a shapeshifter if you want to be. You decide how things affect you and impact your life. If you want to like sob and dwell on that, you can. But like, you're worth more than that. You're better than that. You know that. I know that. We all know. Everybody knows that. Like, if you can do better and you don't, shame on you, really. And I'm not saying that to like be rude. Like, I did that to myself for a long time. I'm speaking from my own experience. Shame on me for doing that too. It's just, I know it's hard if you don't have some encouragement sometimes. Like life's hard. People are mistreated, right? It's not all sunshine and rainbows. I get that. I totally get it. Funny enough, it's raining right now pretty heavily. Yeah, but despite that, it was a pretty good car ride. And yeah, I'm getting to the end of the ride here, so I'm just going to say, hey, thanks for listening. I hope you gleaned something from this. I hope it benefited you in some way. If there's some part of this that resonated with you, I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear from you in a comment. We can have a little discussion. If you benefited from it, maybe give it a like. And if you'd like to hear more from me, consider subscribing. I'd very much appreciate it, and I'd love to have you accompany me on this little journey I'm taking. So, yeah, let's level up together. Let's level up together. Thank you for listening, and may you be well. Until next time.